Today, we're putting three of the most iconic classic holiday movies and we're putting them up against each other in the ultimate holiday showdown. Will it be the spooky charm of Nightmare Before Christmas, the cheerful chaos of Elf, or the booby-trapped brilliance that is Home Alone that will be taking the crown? So grab your eggnog, settle in by the fire, and let's dive into this friendly holiday battle of cult classics. Let's go. So today we're talking three of the biggest cult classic Christmas movies. And I'm going to start off with Home Alone. I'm not going to go deep into these movies. It's not going to be a full-on movie review. It's just going to be kind of like a rundown of like the best scenes, what I like about them, what I dislike about them, and you know, stuff of that nature. And we're gonna start with Home Alone. I'm not gonna go deep into it on account of I've already talked about it in last week's live. I'll go ahead leave a link to that live in the show notes down below, so you guys can check that out. I cover Home Alone 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, you can check that out in the description down below. But like I said, we'll start off with Home Alone. And for those of you who, for some reason, don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to show you the cover on here on the video podcast. The classic cover, the one with Kevin McCallister, a.k.a. Macaulay Culkin, doing his legendary screaming face with the two bandits in the back, the wet bandits. Played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern. And I guess what I can say about Home Alone, like I said, I've already covered this, but Home Alone just kind of like came out. This came out in what was it, 1990, exactly 1990. So like I explained it in the last live that Home Alone came out in a time where times were just different completely. Like the internet was a thing. It just wasn't as people obsess about it now. So there was actually, you know, a time where people could actually sit around and enjoy this movie and not like you have those relatives or friends that when you invite them to watch a movie and you're watching it and you turn to look at them and they're just on their phones. You can't even tell it's because like they're interested in it or they're just bored and they're just rather watch something else or do something else on their phone or whatever. But yeah, it came out around those times, and I mean the movie itself is just great. Like it's a classic, beautifully written from start to finish. Very heartwarming stuff. Very zany, cartoon. Well, yeah, it's kind of cartoony kind of vibes to it when it comes to the scenes where the wet bandits are trying to break into the McCallister's house. And like I said in the live, like I mentioned, the dynamic duo that is Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern just kind of like. It's such a very, very awesome comedic team. It was like the casting was like done so damn well. I loved it so much. Like Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern just nailed it from Home Alone to Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. They're just the perfect comedic duo. Joe Pesci is very known for doing very, very serious stuff, but when it came down to doing the Home Alone movies, like he just did it, dude. He did it, and he did it so damn well, so beautifully. Big shout out to those two guys. And Macaulay Culkin, man, like probably the most well-known child actor of all time. Like, there's literally nobody that does not know the guy from this movie. That's where he kind of got his big hit. And yeah, like there's I know Macaulay Culkin is doing pretty good. Like, he's doing like music or something like that. And I think he's podcasting now too. So he's still doing his thing. And I know he went through like some sort of rough patch or some shit. I mean, I hope the guy is doing very well, and I know he is. Like I said, he's slowly coming back up, doing this thing, but doing it his way. You know, because after the whole Hollywood's been like bleak lately. Like, we've been seeing some shit come to light and stuff like that. But anyways, that's another story for another time, for another video, for another podcast. But as far as Home Alone goes, it's great. I love it. People seem to enjoy part 2 a lot more. There's some people in the live that agree that part 2 just kind of sort of took the cake a lot more than the first one. I mean, I can sort of agree, because part 2 was definitely, it's a totally different level than what part 1 was doing. Like I said in the live stream last week, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, you see the most craziest character development in Kevin McCallister. You see him grow up, man. You see him grow up, and I'm not just saying because he got slightly older, but because his character having gone through what he did in part 1 made things almost, he made it seem almost too easy for him to be lost in New York. And you just see like this much more wiser Kevin. Like I said, I'm just kind of repeating myself, but there's a scene where he's having a very deep conversation with the homeless pigeon lady, and the answers that Kevin gives her are just like next level shit. Like, it's something that you would expect not from how old was he? 11-year-old at the time in the movie. It's just crazy fucking advice. And even the pigeon lady like gives him this look like, holy fuck, like, who are you? you were sent down from the heavens. That's what you did. Like, Kevin just gave the pigeon lady some advice that just kind of like fucking mind bottled the shit out of her brain, and she just kind of like realized, like, holy fuck, like, this little kid's right. So there was that, and the fact that he just the kid grew balls. The kid grew balls throughout the because of part 1, and it's just like the scene where the wet bandits are planning to hit the toy factory, the toy store, to go steal money, and he already knew about this and whatever. And there's one scene where he's walking down the street in the middle of the night in front of the children's hospital that the toy factory or toy store were already planning to donate toys to. And because he knew that the wet bandits were going to hit up the place and steal from it, he was like, how was the line? Somewhere along the lines that you can mess with Christmas, but you can't mess with kids on Christmas. Something along those lines. And he fucking jetted to, I believe it was like one of his aunt and uncle's place that they were like renovating or remodeling or some shit. And he booby-trapped the shit out of it. And he went over to the toy store or factory, catches the wet bandits in the act, throws a rock with a little note apologizing to the store toy store factory owner that he met earlier in the movie. And yeah, I just think that the character development for part 2 is crazy. In part 1, again, you're just kind of getting to know what Kevin McCallister was really capable of doing. Because I mean, if you've seen the movie, you recall the movie, you know that the shit that that Kevin makes these two wet bandits, Harry and Marv, go through is completely insane. And realistically speaking, like real talk, like those booby traps, some of them they should have died in this movie, but you know, being that they kept it a little bit under a PG or PG-13. What rating was this movie? It was PG, and they actually stayed true to the PG, because there's some movies that would come out back in the 90s that were rated PG, but you would hear and see some swear words in there, and they claimed those to be okay for young viewers, you know, from like kids age, like 8, 6, 7, whatever. So yeah, that's the rating stays true to the movie, and the movie itself just stayed true for or a little bit over a decade now, and it came out in the 90s. It stayed golden, and it's just become something way bigger than the director probably anticipated it to be. The director being Chris Columbus. Classic. The guy just knew what he was doing. He knew what he wanted. He had the vision, and he fucking went for it. And that's why Home Alone is I'm going to let you guys decide by the end of this video podcast. Or if you want, just to give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on the Home Alone movie. And what do you think it's, how should we compare it, or how should it be compared to the next two movies that we're going to talk about next? But before we get into the second one, this is going out to everybody out there watching who wants to do video content, wants to stream, wants to do live and stuff of that nature. If you are interested in doing such thing, go ahead and head to the show notes down below. I will leave a link right there for you guys to be able to download StreamYard. StreamYard is the program that I am using for most of my videos, which I'm using right now for I use for video podcasts and for my lives and stuff like that, and sometimes just my regular video content. If you guys are interested, go ahead and head to the show notes down below, click the link, download StreamYard. It'll get you $10 off. And yeah, for you people out there, get StreamYard. Very cool stuff. Very easy to use. Very easy to bring guests in. Very easy to pop up banners such as what you're seeing down here. And it's just very simple, very easy to use, very user friendly. Once again, $10 off, and the link in the show notes down below. And let's start with the second movie now, shall we? The second movie being The Nightmare Before Christmas. And this one, I had to put it in there because, I mean, just like Home Alone, it has a huge cult following. And I mean, because of the fact that it's got Nightmare and Christmas in the title, as you probably guessed it, it works for both holidays. My favorite holiday being Halloween, October, and of course December. So it works out both ways. So this movie kind of has an upper hand when it comes to when it airs or when you want to watch it, right? I know that somewhere out there, I know I have this movie still on VHS, if you can believe that. VHS being the big videotape thing. I'm gonna have a sip of water here. So yeah, the fact that, again, that it has Nightmare and Christmas on the title, you can watch it either before Christmas, hence the name, or on December, Christmas. So again, that has that upper hand, this movie. Also, that's got a huge merchandise. I mean, like, endless endless amount of merchandise that this movie has come out. And again, it plays around a lot with the whole October and Christmas thing. Written the story wise, it's really, really good. It's one of Tim Burton's, the director of the movie. I'm sorry, the director is actually Henry Selick, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Story is by Tim Burton and also by Michael McDowell, written by both of those two very brilliant men, and again directed by Henry Selick. And this movie was released in October 29th of 1993, 3 years after Home Alone 1. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it might have also been out the same year as Home Alone 2, if I'm not mistaken. Leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify. Let me know if I'm incorrect or correct about that. But Nightmare Before Christmas, it's also become a very huge cult classic, and I think, like I said, about it having the upper hand of being both Clash of Halloween and Christmas, could possibly might have a much larger audience because of that reason. And if you are a huge fan of stop motion animation, that's also another thing that it has about it. And going back to hold the term Tim Burton has put out some brilliant work, stop motion animation work, that just like has a very nice story, very nice plot, and it's just very beautifully well written and very nicely orchestrated. And speaking of orchestrated, I also got to talk about mention Danny Elfman, who happens to be both the voice of Jack Skellington as well as the music producer of most of Tim Burton's work. In fact, probably all of it. The guy is a music fucking wizard. Not to mention, I forget the name of his band. I'll put it somewhere here if I find it. But he also has a band that is just freaking awesome, and like possibly still touring right now. I think, I'm not sure, but the guy's a music fucking wizard, and again voiced Jack Skellington. He has a very unique voice. Now, mentioning that he's voicing probably one of the most iconic Christmassy Halloween characters of all time. I mean, you can't go wrong with Jack Skellington. He just has like this very cartoony, dark, but just very, very beautiful look that he's got to it. And by beautiful, I mean just like, because he's a skeleton, dude. He's a twig with feet and legs and arms, long fingers, holes for eyes, really very spazzy bow tie that I've always loved ever since I first saw this movie. But the movie, just like, it's all based around a character that is in fact, I'll read the synopsis here. The film follows the misadventures of Jack Skellington, Halloween Town's beloved Pumpkin King. He is the Pumpkin King. And in the beginning of the movie, I love the way that it starts off with him dressed as a scarecrow / pumpkin, just being flung around. I think he's on a wagon or something. Anyways, beloved Pumpkin King, who has become bored with the same annual routine of frightening people in the real world, when Jack accidentally stumbles on Christmas Town, all bright colors and warm spirits, and gets a new lesson on life, he plots to bring Christmas under his control by kidnapping Santa and taking over the role, by But Jack soon discovers even the best laid plans of mice and skeletons men can go seriously awry. That's the synopsis for that. And yeah, the movie is just like it all plays around Jack Skellington, who is secretly being crushed on by Sally, another iconic character, a very lovable. Very in love, or a couple, a very well-known couple characters. These Jack and Sally are right up there with fucking Romeo and Juliet, dude. With what's that other name? Those other names, I can't think of them right now. It's from a book. They both end up dying as well. Of course, not these guys. These guys actually live happily ever after. But yeah, it just follows this character Jack, who like I read, is sick of the same old thing. I mean, there's even a song about that the character sings in the movie. Also, really good stuff as well. If you are into musicals, just music in general, and just somewhere around the music arts, this movie is also for you. I think that this movie kind of plays a large part of the reason as to why I'm into musicals. I like musicals. Leave it in the comments in YouTube or Spotify. Are you into musicals, or is that just not your cup of tea? Leave it in the comments down below. It was this one, and it was it was a Peter Pan play, and the Peter Pan was being played by this actress. I'll put up a picture somewhere around here so you guys can see what exactly that I'm talking about. That Peter Pan movie is actually pretty good. This movie just plays a huge part as to why myself, I'm into musicals. So if you're into all that stuff, this movie will definitely be very, very watchable, very enjoyable for you. And yeah, it's just Jack Skellington just stumbling upon Christmas, and the way that it's done, very creative. And the way it was done, they could also have been more. They could have done more movies with Jack exploring all the holidays. But luckily, Tim Burton, being the genius that he is, refused so many offers to make another movie with Jack Skellington, another Nightmare Before Christmas, or they could have been Nightmare Before Thanksgiving, could have been a Nightmare Before Easter, could have been a Nightmare Before what was it, St. Patty's. There could have been all these movies, but like I said, Tim Burton, being the genius that he is, refused to do that because I don't remember how he worded it, but he basically he said something along the lines that the movie was perfect the way that it came out. It was just exactly how he wanted it, how he wrote it, how the director envisioned it. That there was no possible way that they were gonna, rip that to shit and make something totally different for a second part, and then it ruined the magic that is the first movie. So big props to both Tim Burton and the director Henry Selick for making a very, very smart decision and just giving us a one-time but very, very well done Christmas/Halloween movie. So kudos to them, man. I applause for that for sure. But yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, and like I said, it's just right up there. It's got two slots, this movie. It's got the Halloween slot and it's got the Christmas slot. And I had to bring it up for this particular battle royale because, like I said, it's got a huge following, and I think it deserved still deserves to be a part of this Christmas tier that we're doing here today. And as far as the whole movie as a whole, it's well done. And I mean, myself as a kid, I would watch those old stop motion animation movies. My all-time favorite one being Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Love that one. It's a classic. As well as all the other stop motion animation movies, but that one just kind of took the cake. It rules as a stop motion animation movie. It rules for its cinematography, the backgrounds, the settings, all just handmade models, and it's just so good. Like you see the art move, and it's just one of the greatest stop motion animation movies. And again, it deserves its place in being in one of the top movies to be watched in both Christmas and Halloween. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment sections right down below. What do you all think? If this movie would or does have a much larger following than the first movie that we talked about, being Home Alone? Do you think it does deserve to be in the Christmas tier, in a Christmas categorized movie? Should it just stay a Halloween movie? What is your favorite scenes? All that in the comment boxes right down below. And now I think it is an okay time to bring up the next movie. Thirsty for something new? Welcome to the Booze and Chill channel, where every sip is, you can say, an adventure. From craft beers to cocktails that'll blow your mind, I've got the lowdown on the best drinks around. But if it's not just about the drinks, I also dive into movie trailer breakdowns, as well as music video breakdowns, and every now and again I do throw in some mouth-watering food reviews. So if you're ready to mix up your entertainment, hit that subscribe button and let's cheers to some good times. The next movie here is, I had to go with this one because it's definitely, I mean, we get marathons of these movies. Oh, we get marathons of all three of these movies, but this one in particular just kind of like came out of nowhere back in 2003, and the movie I'm talking about is Elf. Will Ferrell Elf. As you can see, this is actually the DVD that we're looking at here. This is how it first came out, in this cover right here. So Elf, man, Will Ferrell. I mean, the motherfucker needs no introduction. This guy has been a comedic legend for like shit. How long? I mean, I don't even know how long it's been, but I mean, think back to SNL, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's where he just started getting completely noticed, and then he went into film, and that's where he just made that was his debut. That was the one that launched his ass to his success, to where he's at right now. Will Ferrell just plays a very hysterical elf. Let me read you guys a synopsis to this one here. Buddy, Will Ferrell plays Buddy the elf, was accidentally transported to the North Pole as a toddler and raised to adulthood among Santa's elves. Unable to shake the feeling that he doesn't fit in, the adult Buddy travels to New York in full elf uniform in search of his real father. As it happens, this is Walter Hobbs, played by James Kane. Kane, I believe that's how you pronounce that. I apologize if I got that wrong. A cynical businessman. After a DNA test proves this, Walter reluctantly attempts to start a relationship with the childlike buddy, with increasingly chaotic results. Very, very brilliantly written, this movie. The writer and the director. The director of this movie, as he's very, very well known in the Disney and Marvel cinematic universe, and the person I'm talking about is John Favreau. Favreau. I obviously I can't read, but he started the Marvel cinematic universe, man. Like, enough said. He made the first Iron Man movie. He did Iron Man 2. He did The Mandalorian. He's just like big in so many different areas that it's just so crazy. He did the Avengers. It's Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man Homecoming, Age of Ultron, Endgame, Infinity War, and the list just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, there's really, again, the guy needs no introduction. So we got John and Will working on the same project with an awesome cast, like I said, with James Cain, Zoe Deschanel, beautiful actress, who Zoe plays Jovi. John, actually, the director, puts himself in most of his work, and he plays Dr. Leonardo. He plays the doctor of Walter being the dad of Buddy. We got Peter Dinklage. Very, very awesome stuff. I mean, y'all know he made his mark when it came to Game of Thrones. Awesome stuff. Mary Steenburgen plays Emily, the Buddy's mom or stepmother. And we also get Daniel Tay, who plays Michael, Buddy's little brother. And again, the movie's just brilliant. John Favreau. I apologize so much for that. He's a total complete genius. He kind of sort of went on, if I remember correctly, he just kind of went on a limb with this movie and just like, and it just hit. And even he was completely surprised as to how much of a success this movie even became. And I mean, the movie is just brilliant. I mean, first of all, it is fucking hysterical. It is hilarious. Will Ferrell, you put Will Ferrell in anything and he will turn it into comedy gold. And that's what I love about Will Ferrell. Like, the guy's a fucking comedic genius. And then you put him in the North Pole, raised by elves, hangs out with Santa Claus, and all the other little characters in this world are all stop motion animation figures. And that's another thing that this kind of played around, not just as its normal thing, like its original piece, but it also put in stop motion in it as well. And I thought that was a real nice treat, a very nice touch by John, the director, because we get the original story, we get the Buddy, we get all the live action elves, and then to kind of intertwine some classic stop motion animation Christmas movie ideas and figures and whatnot. Just like I was talking about earlier, how those classic stop motion animation movies, he combined his idea, the Elf movie, and combined it with a little bit of that. So I thought that was again a very nice treat. It just makes it. It just makes it. It gives it a little bit of more. What is the word I'm looking for? It just gives it a little bit of more of a more character to it, more than this movie already has. And Will Ferrell playing Buddy the Elf is just like, it's good. He's a giant man child, because the elves, elves are portrayed to be short, very energetic, very on constant sugar rushes. Because I mean, the diet. There's a diet that we finally know an elf's diet, and it's brought up in this movie. And the elf's diet consists of candy cane, candy corn, and syrup. Those are the food groups for elves, which is like crazy stuff. The kind of diet that would give us diabetes and kill us. That's the kind of diet that elves apparently, according to this movie, have. So that's pretty damn cool. It gives the elves a little bit of more. We get to know elves a little bit more, or we get to know elves in a totally different way. Well, at least their diet. So that's pretty crazy. And there's this one snowman that comes out that I'm pretty sure is the same goddamn snowman that we get in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the classic stop motion animation movie. Looks almost about the same, just with different colored outfit. Yeah. Besides that, the whole story of a buddy traveling to New York City was pretty hilarious. He actually turns. Well, he tells the story the same way throughout the movie, how he left the North Pole and traveled to New York. And it's all he explains it all the same way, and it's all like through the eyes of a child, again, because elves are very energetic, like childlike energy that they have. So it makes sense that Buddy the Elf, Will Ferrell, comes out this way, and it's just completely hilarious. He's so silly, he's so childlike, and it's just hilarious, the stuff that he does. When it comes down to meeting Josie, aka Zoe Deschanel, it definitely brings the character again, the character development in Elf. It's not crazy, because it's not like he goes from this childlike mannerisms that he's got from being raised by elves. He doesn't like completely change 100%, but he does learn. There's a couple things, and there's a couple things that he does and says that he can't do in the human world or around humans. And of course, like he starts dating, so he starts seeing this. He starts seeing life. He starts seeing real life. We see somebody raised by elves, a human raised by elves, just basically living life for the first time, dude. That's what we see in this movie, and that itself brings something completely, a little bit more, more fiction, more non-fiction into the story. It starts off with a fictional character. It's a fictional story. A human raised by elves. Him being accidentally taken away by Santa Claus, stuff like that. And then we slowly but surely see this fictional character come into this fictional nonfiction world, and just like we just see this character being molded into what again, a childlike elf, to something still childlike, but more aware of, you know, the human side, his human life, and I think that just worked awesomely, just awesomely. And again, just the stuff that Buddy goes through all throughout the movie is just hilarious. A really, really good one. A very good explanation of how the Buddy, the elf, or his elf side brightens up like anything. Like the guy was sent to, I think it was like a mail room. It was like in the last, like in the basement, or I don't know. It's like the lowest part of the building where his dad works. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. And it's he's sent to some sort of mail room, and he's like, and it's like, it's underground. Its lights are dimmed. Like, it's like the worst lighting. The walls are like this very like depressing color, and everybody there just looks like they're just done with life. And Buddy the elf goes there, and you know, he's being put to work, and he's just doing his buddy thing, his elf thing, and he literally just brightens up the entire department, and to the point where like he also had a little bit of help with what I can only assume is probably Jack or whatever it is that that guy that he was working next to had in his flask. He chugged it all, thinking it was syrup, because again, he's an elf, he's child mentality, and he makes he brightens up the entire place, and to the point where everybody's just dancing, playing like whoop there it is, whoop there it is, you know, stuff like that. And it's just great, dude. The Will Ferrell's character with Zooey Deschanel, very, very good stuff. Not to mention the soundtrack to this movie is great, dude. And there's also this really nice shower scene. There's not no nudity or anything like that, but there's a nice shower scene where Zooey Deschanel's character, Jovi's singing "Baby It's Cold Outside," and Zooey Deschanel does have, or has, I'm not entirely sure if she's still doing this. She also does a little bit of music on the side. She's a very, very talented singer. She's a very talented singer. So we hear her sing "Baby It's Cold Outside," collaborating with Will Ferrell's character, Buddy, singing the male parts of the song, and it's just like, it's good. And then if you listen to it on the soundtrack, you know, without the shower sound effects and whatever, it's definitely a good one. It's probably one of my favorite Christmas songs. I do have favorite Christmas stuff, for those of you who know, who have been around since the beginning. I do have favorite Christmas things. Not that much of a monster. But yeah, the combo of both Jovi and Buddy, very, very heartwarming stuff, very romantic stuff. But at the same time, keeping Will Ferrell's style, and that being just funny, dude. It's very nice rom-com scenes whenever Jovi and Buddy come out together. From the moment that they meet for the first time, Buddy the elf just, you know, has love at first sight. Not only that, but Buddy also saves Christmas by helping out Santa, helping Santa get his sleigh to fly. Because you know, kids nowadays, you know, having a little, you know, not having as much of imagination, or not believing, you know what I mean? Kids not believing in Santa, and that's causing Santa, troubles to fly because he runs on belief, the magic of Christmas, the magic of belief. And Buddy the Elf comes to the rescue and helping out with that, because throughout the movie you see Buddy the Elf be Buddy the Elf, and for being himself, he spreads the magic of Christmas all throughout he scatters it all throughout the movie, and because of that, it helps out in the end, towards the ending part of the movie, where he spreads the love of Christmas to the point where Jovi's character, being a very, very shy singer, only would sing to herself, sings out loud. Because how was that line go? The best way to spread Christmas cheers is for singing loud for all to hear. That was actually one of the elf codes or something like that. And surely we see that in the last parts of the movie. We see a good crowd of people in this New York City park. I can't remember the name of it. Just all singing along to Christmas songs. And that pumping up Santa's sleigh, giving it enough magic power to fly and, saves Christmas. All kids get their gifts. Little small percentage of people of New York get to see a real life Santa fly right above their heads. The ending is also pretty hilarious. Buddy the Elf and Joey become a thing, and they celebrate Christmas both with the human parents as well as the elf parents. So that's pretty damn cool. And the movie overall, just funny, rom-commy, Christmassy, and just plain awesome. Like, this movie just really did no wrong. There's as far as what I dislike about this one, honestly, I don't really have much to say about this. Not much to say. There's probably a couple of things that I would have to rewatch. There's probably a couple of things that I can probably nitpick, but it's just very small things, very stupid things. But as far as the entire movie, it is brilliant. Love it. Awesome. Nightmare Before Christmas, also very, very good stuff. Home Alone, there's just no complaints. These movies are just very well done. Only ones that are standalones are The Nightmare Before Christmas and Elf, and I'm very, very glad that it stayed that way. Home Alone was very, very, very lucky, I might say, for them to actually have milked out a part 2 and actually be just slightly or just as good as the first one. Once again, leave it in the comments down below if you think 1 or 2 is better, or 2 is just by far the best, or 1 outbeats 2. Let me know in the comments down below on YouTube or Spotify. And yeah, I'm glad Nightmare Before Christmas and Elf are standalone movies, because again, it's super rare. It's super, super rare for them to actually be able to pull off a part 2 and it just shine as much as the first one did, or outbeat the first one. I mean, like I said, Nightmare Before Christmas had chances to continue and make a 2 or just, sequels and whatnot. And I'm glad they didn't. And just the same with Elf. Glad it's a standalone. Don't think they could have done something a little bit better than this, quite possibly. I mean, the thing is very well written, very well directed. Again, the cinematography also awesome. There's mostly the parts from the North Pole. Very, very cool stuff. But overall, just great movies. And I think that pretty much covers this here podcast here. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite out of the 3. Which one wins for you all? Which one's their top one? Home Alone, Nightmare, or Elf? Which one do you think deserves to be crowned the king of Christmas movies. Which one should it be? Let me know in the comment box right down below on YouTube or Spotify. And that covers that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, I will leave the link for Home Alones 1, 2, and 3 down in the description. And once again, if you want to stream, go live, or just make very awesome video content, link in the description to get StreamYard for $10 off now. And for more Booze and Chill, head on over to all the Booze and Chill socials. And for exclusive content, head on over to Patreon/Booze and Chill to get behind the scenes, making of, special announcements, early releases, all that good stuff. Head on over to Patreon, become a member. Tiers start at $3, or you can try it out for 7 days free. And that's it for that, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for watching all towards the end, if you did. And I will see you guys in the next video, the next live, or the next podcast. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. And remember, if you keep watching, I'm going to keep drinking. This time, some H2O. Gotta hydrate, bro. Cheers.